you've been accused of being a war criminal. That if you went to go to several countries in Europe, you're going to get arrested. This is not just mad campus radicalism. This is a feeling around the world. You said it yourself to us just now. In public opinion around the world, Israel is doing very poorly. And it's doing very poorly because people see a country that is behaving in a way that is not compatible with being a liberal democracy.
Had on one day about 8,000 Brits murdered, mutilated, raped, and kidnapped. And they came right next to London. What would you do? We know what you did. We know exactly what Britain did, and I don't hold Churchill or the British government or the British people who supported him responsible for saying you shouldn't act that way. You bombed the living daylights out of German cities and out of French cities that were in your way and so on. We didn't do that.
So it finally happened. Somebody looked Benjamin Netanyahu straight in the eye and asked the question millions of people around the world have been asking for months. And honestly, I wasn't sure anyone was actually going to say it to his face. What makes this interview so fascinating is that the conversation quickly turns into a debate over whether Israel is losing the battle for public opinion. And trust me, Netanyahu has an answer for everything. Before we get into it, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, let's watch this together.
Prime Minister, that is one way of viewing the world, and I have some sympathy with some of what you've said. Let me give you another way, which is that many people around the world see the state of Israel as a country that is exclusively using military force, that has killed 70,000 people in Gaza, that is doing nothing to create a sustainable future for people there. That is a country, you've been accused of being a war criminal. That if you went to go to several countries in Europe, you're going to get arrested. This is not just mad campus radicalism. This is a feeling around the world. You said it yourself to us just now. In public opinion around the world, Israel is doing very poorly. And it's doing very poorly because people see a country that is behaving in a way that is not compatible with being a liberal democracy. And therefore, I think you have a problem. I think that loss of public opinion, what struck me from your autobiography was how subtly and for how long you have understood this. You know that political power comes from public opinion, and you know that you need to win the battle of public opinion, and you're losing it. You've absolutely lost it in Europe, but much more worryingly for you, you're losing it in America. And I think that what you've just told me about fanaticism is true in part, but it is not going to shape public opinion. People are going to roll their eyes and say, he's saying that anybody who says anything critical about Israel is anti-Semitic. He's giving this large, this story about fanaticism, and he's not accepting the fact that Israel is behaving in a way that we think is incompatible with the kind of liberal democracy that he claims.
Well, liberal democracies that fought the battles from World War II to Afghanistan to Iraq and so on, the ratio of combatants to non-combatants killed was 6-1, 7-1. In Gaza, because Hamas was forcing people to stay in urban areas at gunpoint, the ratio is about 1.5 to 1. And we lost a lot of soldiers because we didn't carpet bomb.
That is disputed, Prime Minister.
We didn't do...
People have different ratios as well.
I'm telling you, you don't actually, but that's not the point. It certainly wasn't 6-1 or 7-1, and we certainly didn't carpet bomb, which we could have done right away. We've lost a lot of people by my refusal and the IDF's own mores in making sure that doesn't happen. Now, if you have the densest urban warfare theater in history, with 500 kilometers of terror tunnels underneath, 50 meters below, 50 meters above, everything booby-trapped, and you don't come in and just bomb the place to smithereens, which we didn't. I mean, we had everything booby-trapped. We moved the population out, and then you have to fight the Hamas in there. The ratios in Mosul, the ratios in Fallujah, the ratios elsewhere, there's nothing comparison, and that was nothing compared to what our brave soldiers had to face in Gaza. So I dispute the fact. The argument that you put forward is being put forward. It doesn't make it true. What is true is that Israel is fighting these worst killers, these people who took not only beheaded our men, raped our women, and then murdered them, burned our babies alive, and took 255 hostages, which we took out. Nobody believed that we got them out. These are barbarians, and they're given a free look. I have demonstrations on behalf of Hamas. Notice that they're burning the flag of Israel. and the flag of the UK, the flag of Israel and the flag of America. When you have pro-Israel demonstrations, they wave Israeli flags, they wave American flags, they wave British flags. These people are against you, whether you recognize it or not. They will sweep away your societies, your freedoms, your ideas, the values that we cherish. Exactly.
Whoa, hold on a second. Did you catch what just happened? The interviewer wasn't asking Netanyahu to compare Gaza to Afghanistan, or Iraq, or any other war. He was asking a much simpler question. Why are so many people around the world changing their opinion of Israel? Now watch this carefully, because instead of staying on that question, Netanyahu starts shifting the conversation somewhere else. Whether you agree with him or not, that's the moment this interview takes a different direction. And honestly, keep an eye on the hosts while he's answering. Their reactions tell you almost as much as the words coming out of his mouth. All right, let's keep watching.
Prime Minister, it really isn't just extreme radicals. There are huge numbers of people who are concerned about Israel's behavior, frankly, including people like me.
Well, I think that if Britain was invaded, forgive me, if Britain was invaded and you had the equivalent in Britain, your population is what, 65 million, something like that, 60 million, right? So you're about 6 times our size. So if you had on one day about 8,000 Brits murdered, mutilated, raped, and kidnapped, and they came right next to London, what would you do? We know what you did. We know exactly what Britain did, and I don't hold Churchill or the British government or the British people who supported him responsible for saying you shouldn't have acted that way. You bombed the living daylights out of German cities and out of French cities that were in your way and so on. We didn't do that.
You know what really stood out to me about this interview? It wasn't the back and forth. And it wasn't even the disagreement. It was the fact that the interviewer kept bringing the conversation back to one simple point: public opinion. Because whether you support Israel or whether you strongly disagree with its actions, there's no denying that more people around the world are asking difficult questions than they were a few years ago. And I think that's why this exchange has gotten so much attention. Not because people suddenly agree on everything, but because someone finally asked those questions directly and let everyone hear the response for themselves. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Netanyahu actually answered the concerns that were raised? Or do you think he avoided the central question? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to every political update, and I'll see you in the next one.